Namaste, hi dragons, welcome to your Monday flow. So today is going to be a quite simplified, direct, no fuss flow to just wake up the body in a way that will feel familiar, not too fast, mindful, but not overcomplicating the transitions and variations. So my hope is that this will enable you to kind of get more into the body, out of the instruction part of the brain, and just rinse out any tension to feel a bit more of a fresh page. Um, so today is I would say it's quite a mellow flow, but there will be a couple of dynamic poses done in a mellow way. So it could be a good one for beginners today, but certainly one that you'll enjoy if you're used to doing your flows with me, I hope. So as usual, do take care of yourselves. When in doubt, just take rest or come back a little from the depth of your pose. So we're going to start off in standing, and today I might be using the word Drishti, which in Sanskrit is focus. But the reason to just not use the word focus but to use the word Drishti is that that can be outer focus or an inner focus. And so that might be something that you start to think about with your eyes closed as you breathe. Okay, so we're going to start off at the front of the mat. Feet to your hips distance roughly, feeling aligned underneath the hip bones. Hands either side of you, and just taking a moment to roll your shoulders back and down, lifting up the heart. Take a full breath in, take a clearing breath here, out through the mouth. And then you might do that one more time. Left hand to the chest, right hand to the belly. Getting in touch with the breath happening in both places, so the belly inflates and the chest rises. And letting that go, exhaling as a softening. Breathing in, feeling spaciousness in those places. And exhaling as a softening. We're going to take 2 more breaths like that. If you haven't already, close the eyes. And feel your drishti, your focus at your third eye point. So the spot between the eyebrows. Start to open your eyes. We're going to take our hands down to our sides and just lift your right hand up to your side, above you. And with your chest facing the front of the mat, just take some sideways space. Inhale, tall as you can be. Exhale to let that right arm come down. Inhale to take up your left hand, palm face up, chest facing forwards. Exhaling, side stretching to the right. Finding a bit of lift in your next breath. Inhale to rise. Exhale to bring the arms down. Big breath in, both arms up. Palms together through center to fold. Take a generous bend in the knees so the spine can lengthen as you drop your chest and head. Release the arms towards the ground. Stretching the legs as you breathe in, not necessarily straightening them. Taking a deep breath more. And maybe closing the eyes for 2 more breaths as we stretch the legs and find our focus. So you might be aiming your inner focus just at the feet here. Inhale, You're going to lift your right foot, step it towards the back of the mat. You can take a few bounces getting there. As we exhale, we're coming down gently to land your right knee. Untuck the toes, inhale, move out of your deepest stretch, find your lift into both hands at shoulder distance. Exhale, moving forwards as you lift up the chest. So again, thinking of where the focus is, your eyes might drift slightly up. We're not throwing the head completely back. We're trying to lift up through the chest and let the head and the gaze follow. Breathing here for 2 or 3 more. Maybe the eyes close. Last breath in. And breath out to frame the front foot and start to move back out of the bend of your front knee. Dropping your head towards that left knee and just trying to draw back the hip bones. We should feel this left hamstring. If you have room to go further, we might tuck the back toes and sit back a little bit deeper, flexing the ball of the foot. Focus towards the knee. And moving forwards with your next breath in. You're going to take both shins back, find child's pose, but keep your toes tucked under so we're sitting back on your heels. And as you bring your forehead down, we might meet the mat with the forehead, and you'll already feel a little bit of that shoulder space sculpting out into a half puppy dog pose. If you want to add more, we're lifting the wrists onto engaged fingertips. Drishti at the third eye. Exhale, land the palms, find your way up into your table where we're just going to take a nice little cat-cow. Bring the belly button down, tailbone up, shoulders back. Exhaling to reverse that curve, chin to chest, tailbone under. Inhale, bringing the belly button down, feeling a stretch of the skin on your belly, chest. As we exhale, a stretch of your skin across the back. Inhaling, Drishti forwards. Exhaling, Drishti to your belly button. Inhale, nice neutral spine. Spread fingers, and we're going to take your right foot, step it between the hands. So you might shuffle that foot a little bit forward so it kind of matches the spacing of your lunge on the other side. Moving out of your deepest stretch, inhale, press into the front foot, rise the fingertips at your shoulder distance. As we exhale, we're moving into the bend of your front knee as much or as little as feels comfortable, and lifting up the chest, not throwing the head back, but allowing it to form a little lift that follows that curve. Breathing for 2 and 1. Start landing the hands to the front of the mat. Inhale, let's bring the hip bones up and back. So as before, we might be taking a small movement to lift the hips, dropping the head, or we might be tucking your left toes, moving back through both hip bones and flexing the ball of the foot, making sure your hips feel squared to the front of the mat. Really drop the crown of the head here, find a softer focus. Closing the eyes. Inhale, moving forwards to lift the back knee, and we're just going to rock to the front of the mat. Feet at your hips distance to fall. Inhale to rise the arms to the sides. Prayer position. Exhale, drifting that prayer towards the chest. Taking a full breath in, feeling the texture of your mat under the feet. Dipped gaze, full breath out. Inhale, bringing the arms wide to your sides. Exhaling, prayer position all the way through center, bending the knees generously to fold. Inhale, hands to your shins this time as you stretch your crown forwards, a flat back, eyes to the ground. Exhale, refold and drop the head, eyes behind you. Stepping or jumping back to plank position, shoulders over the wrists. Take a full breath in that plank, really energize the shoulder blades and try and bring your hip bones in line with heels and crown. We're coming down with the elbows either side. You can land the knees if you prefer, or land the belly, like a press up but a press down. Untuck the toes as you meet the ground. Hands under your shoulders. We're just going to lift the chest, hands and head. Squeeze your elbows in either side of you so you're in this little mid-back squeeze and lift. And then drop the eyes down so your crown is trying to sprout forwards. So we're into strength here. It might feel like you're warming up the belly a little bit. Take another breath or two. Feel those core muscles start. And then we're going to sweep the hands forwards like a big front stroke. And take the hands behind you until the hands face inwards, lifting your feet and chest a little more. Again, eyes are slightly down, crown presses forwards. Feel the trunk of the body start its energy. Again, 2 breaths more. Exhale, release. Hands under the shoulders for a cobra lift, peeling the front of the body off the ground, then the hips. Exhale, tuck the toes, child's pose, hips to heels. Inhale, tabletop, framing hands under the shoulders, knees under hips. Exhale, lifting the knees and lengthening back to down dog. So as we find that down dog today, let's take a pedal, but a slow, intentional pedal. So your right heel is going to come down, your left knee slightly bends. We keep lifting the tailbone and pressing the ground away as equally as possible. And then a full breath as we change over. Left heel comes down, right knee slightly bends. And we take a full breath in as we lift the tail. Full breath out. One more on each side, change to your right heel, left knee bends, equal through the hip bones and shoulders. Move to the other side, left heel down, right knee slightly bent, inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale, come up on both tiptoes, equal and in line with the hips if you can. Drop the head slightly. Each breath we take, slowly peel the heels towards the ground as we lift the tailbone. So you have opposition trying to make its way into the legs for a little more length. Breathing in to look towards the hands, drishti forwards. A jump or a step to the front of the mat as we exhale, folding. As we inhale, strong back, rising, arms open. As we exhale, prayer position towards the chest. Slightly dipped focus for 2 big breaths. Keeping your right foot at the front of the mat. Inhale, we're going to step back with the left toes. And keep the toes pointing out either towards the side, so you're in a 90-degree angle with your front foot, or a little bit deeper if that's more comfortable for your calf muscle and knee. Inhale, moving into warrior 2, hands face down, spreading open, and making sure as you bend into your right knee, it doesn't cross the line of the ankle. We want to stack right on top or a little bit behind. Land the outer edge of the right foot so the knee doesn't drift in, and lower the shoulders. Equal power through the arms. And our focus here is across the middle finger of that front hand. And we're strengthening the feet, pulling up the arches of the feet so you feel a little internal energy through the legs. as we hold a couple more breaths here, maybe closing the eyes and keeping an internal focus the same across that right middle finger as we imagine it. We're going to move into your Parsvakonasana, right elbow finding its way down. Inhale to stretch the left arm up and away from your back foot. Keeping your shoulder blades nice and broad, try not to bunch everything up, as is so tempting. Strengthen those legs. And breathe into what we feel this side. Loads of expansive space now on your left, all the way from the foot, hip, ribs, and up to the fingertips. Gaze is completely out to the side, so we're following the line of your spine all the way to the crown of the head. One last exhale. Before we push off this side, inhale to rise your right fingertips into reverse warrior. Not for that long, we're just going to reach out of the right hip. If this is a little bit too much on the back, just come a bit more level. Keep strengthening the legs and sitting down into a low center of gravity. Last big breath, maybe peeling slightly back. Exhale, we're windmilling the arms until your back arm comes inside your right foot, parallel back foot as you're coming down. So both sets of toes point forwards as we land the left hand to the ground. Inhale to peel your right arm out into a simple twist. Fingertips up to the sky. Again, find a gaze that softens the line of the spine, so maybe the eyes are just out towards your right side. Breathing through the length of the spine, through the glutes. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhaling. One more breath in to lift. One more breath out to relax and frame your front foot. We're coming back to plank position. You can do as before and land the belly or knees, or we might take a full vinyasa here, elbow tips in, chest forwards, inhale, up dog, chin to chest, rolling back to find a nice landing on those four connections with the ground, down dog. Let's take a chuck out of breath here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Returning to internal breath. Looking towards the hands, we can jump or step forwards. Feet roughly under the hips to fold. Inhale to rise the arms to your sides. Exhaling, position towards the chest, landing the thumbs at the center, feeling your feet, texture of the mat. Slightly dipped focus, breathing again for 2. Notice your heartbeat under the thumbs, anything to observe in the breath. Inhaling, we're going to start to step your right foot towards the back of the mat. Left toes are still pointing forwards. Your right foot might be 90 degrees out or slightly pointing your toes forwards. Front foot is nice and aligned with the ankle joint to knee. Spread the arms. Nice level shoulders, equal power through the arms as we strengthen the legs and the arches of the feet. Taking our gaze today across that left middle finger. And that outer focus maybe becomes our Drishti as we close the eyes, strengthen the legs, and keep that focus the same. Starting to open the eyes, lifting the ribs and taking the left elbow onto the left thigh as we feel your hips stretch. Right arm spreads away from your right foot. So try to create a line with this right foot all the way through to fingertips and feel that right side of the body spread and stretch and become more spacious. Eyes are out to the side so that your crown is long. Taking another 2. And 1. Pushing off the thigh with an inhale. Take your left fingertips up as your right hand relaxes to your thigh, just coming out of your hip at 90 degrees, or lifting a little bit further and slightly back if there's space and your back feels comfortable to come past that neutral point. Breathing in and breathing out into strong legs, low center of gravity. Eyes are again allowed to drift up, but not throwing the head back. We're going to exhale and take your back hand, your right hand forwards as you hop to parallel back foot, so both sets of toes point forwards as we land that right hand down. Inhale, rise the left fingertips into simple twist. So we should feel this nice bit of glute energy as you press down the left foot. Chest is open, shoulder blades almost squeezing together. And we find somewhere comfortable for our eyes to be without craning the neck, strengthening the back knee. Last deep breath. Exhaling to release. We're finding our plank position, stepping back. And again, your version of coming through to an arch. So you could be landing your belly, inhale, hovering the chest and coming forwards. Exhale, chin to chest and back to the most even down dog we can find here. As we breathe to lift the tail and drop the head soft. And we might take a small shake of the head, side to side. Maybe a small nod, a yes movement. Take another deep breath here to chuck out a breath. Looking towards the hands, we might jump or step forwards. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Exhaling, prayer position towards the chest. Feeling the feet, the texture of the mat. Dipped focus, tall crown. So we're going to step back with your left foot, so you're facing out to your left side. So both sets of toes point out to your left. So this could be wide or a little bit closer together if the hips are feeling a little constricted today. Inhale, we're going to take a big swimming movement forwards, palms facing out, opening the chest. Trying to squeeze the shoulders together as you link the thumbs first, perhaps then each finger. Inhale to squeeze and lift the chest open. If that's a bit tight as you breathe out, you might take hands to the elbows instead. Each opposite elbow. Take another deep breath in. And exhale, we're going to fold forwards, lengthening the spine, strong feet, strong knees. If you feel that there's a bit of pressure through the knees, just take a little micro bend in both knees. Re-stretch when you're ready. Or release the hands early, take support from the floor. Good, taking another deep breath. Exhaling to let those hands spring apart. Inhale, looking towards your right foot. We're simply going to look towards that right foot, turn everything forwards, and just rock the feet to the front of the mat. Exhaling to fold. Full breath in, take one hand to each opposite elbow and find your ragged doll. A little bounce and some heaviness with your shoulders down, so we're shifting tense space away. The head in particular might enjoy this little vacation from holding itself up. Jaw might follow suit with a bit of a softening energy as well. As we exhale, take a little bend in both knees so your spine is allowed to stay nice and long. Arms drop to the ground, and we're going to roll up from here. So you press into the feet, almost squeeze the hips together. Keep your arms heavy, and we're going to roll each vertebrae up to stack. Mid back, upper back, shoulders, crown, and then wrapping your shoulders back and down. Good, so when you're ready, we're just going to take a brief little adventure into balance. If today isn't a balancing day, you might be near a wall here so that you can get the most out of your stretch. So we're going to bring our weight into your right foot, empty out your left foot. Inhale, bring that left ankle in with your left hand to the thigh. So we're finding tree pose today, a squeeze of your thigh and foot together. And you'll know immediately if this feels a little bit on the strong side for you, you can bring that foot down to the shin or ankle for balance. The knees still open, we're squeezing the glutes and rising the chest. Palm to palm, inhale. Starting to rise those palms into the air. And just find a moment of stillness before you wobble around. Don't watch me for balance. Take a full breath. In and out. Keeping your gaze forwards and down as we do in standing. Engaging the glutes. One last breath. And exhaling, separate the arms to step down into both feet. Bringing your weight into your left foot. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Bring up your right knee, find the ankle, bring it to the inner thigh. If that's a bit strong, you might be moving down to the shin or the ankle. Making sure your glutes feel that little sort of drawing together to open up the space of the hips. Inhale, palms together, rising up towards the sky. Shoulders down, finding a moment of stillness. Don't worry if there's a wobble there. Just searching for just a moment of balance. Separate the arms. Exhale, we're going to step into both feet as we did before. Big breath in. Rise the arms into the air. And we're going to bend the elbows as if your elbows are extremely heavy in front of you. And just roll it down. Chest towards the thighs. Lengthen down. And exhale, drop the head. Stretching the legs. Maybe a shake out of the head here, nice and gentle. Before we exhale, bend generously into both knees and just take a seat on your heels. And as we raise the chest, for some people this isn't so comfortable. You can find your way back towards the sit bones immediately if you prefer. Otherwise, we might take a moment here, hands towards the chest, finding balance and just using the spread of the toes. So you've also got in touch with balance through the balls of the feet, the toes, as well as the full flat foot. And then just keeping your gaze forwards, take another full breath. And exhale, we're just going to push that prayer position forwards and feel the exchange of weight as your hip bones come back. And you might take this really slowly to see if you can land your hips towards the ground. So let's take the hands under the thighs today, lift up your lower back and choose whether we're going to hover those hands either side of the shins, keep supporting the thighs, or stretch those legs out. And we're going to go for 3 breaths with a nice warm breath out, half closing the throat. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Drishti directly forwards, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling to bring the knees up and give yourself a squeeze. As we exhale, setting your feet at hips distance apart to roll down to your semi-supine. As we find semi-supine, just give your hands a little turn face down either side of the hips. Doing nothing for a breath, but just feeling a nice aligned spine along the ground, releasing the feet. Before we come down to rest, we're going to press into those feet. Rise your pelvis bones.
Inhale, find a half bridge. It can be really gentle. We don't have to take the pelvis sky high, just a little off the floor, engaging the back, wrapping glutes under the hip bones. If you feel like it, you might take hands to interlace along the floor to go one step further into lifting up the chest and spreading the ribs. Allow your chin and your chest to come together. Try not to resist that. Keep your neck soft. Drishti to belly button and perineum. Let's take a full breath in and a full breath out to release the hands and drift your pelvis back towards the ground. Inhaling, bring the knees up towards your chest for a squeeze. So we squeeze the shins with each hand. And then we're just going to send your right leg away to slide out and lengthen along the ground. Keep your left shin in for a moment, feeling that little squeeze of security on the back. And then exhale, we're going to drop your left arm open towards your side, in line with the shoulder, and reach your right hand towards your left knee. Taking your inhale here, and your exhale for a twist, your left knee moving towards the right side as you breathe out. And you don't have to meet the ground by any means. Your head might follow you around to your right side. Just feeling those two directions of the body, just easygoing twist, not too forceful. Inhaling, start to roll onto your back. Bring both shins back up towards you. Take a squeeze, and then we'll release the left leg all the way away along the ground. So you have both hands on your right shin squeezing in. And then we're going to drop your right arm open in line with your right shoulder on the ground. Take your left hand to your right knee and breathe in. Breathing out to twist, right knee moving towards your left side. And it doesn't have to meet the floor. Your head might follow you around to the left. Feel quite easygoing in that twist today. Just wringing out the body, two directions for the skin, massage for the organs. Inhaling, let's start to move back onto our back. Give both knees a squeeze. And then exhale, bring the feet all the way out in front of you for Shavasana, palms towards the sky. Chin tucked towards the chest, you might wriggle the fingers and toes before you relax them completely. And let's just rest here for a few moments, letting the breath happen and the muscles just give up any effort being held by the floor. Starting to make our way back to our awareness by deepening the breath. And just feeling the process of your breath, old for new, on any level that resonates today. It could just be your breath, maybe your energy too, bringing in new energy, fresh energy, and releasing what is stale. And I'm taking that into your last couple of breaths. Starting to wriggle fingers and toes. Starting to bring your knees up towards your chest. And then just rolling over to your left side, curling up in a ball on your side. Come up slowly to find the cross legs position. Set the shoulders down from the ears. Take a breath in through your left nostril. Imagine that breath leaving through your right nostril. Imagine that breath coming in through your right nostril and leaving through your left nostril. And then bringing the breath in equally through both. Up to the crown and out through both. And one last soft breath in through both equally. And out through both. Inhale, palms towards the chest. Taking a bow to yourself. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope to see you real soon.